What up?
Guess who?
We're back, fam.
We're here. This weekend's episode is a little late again. We're having,
Our life's a fucking mess, don't let her lie.
It's just, let's just say, I feel like the beginning of 2020 has been a shit show for everybody, I feel like.
I mean, 2020 is going to be our year, but I'll be damned if she's not going to make it hard.
She's definitely going to make it hard. That's what she's doing, for sure. It's been a tough one. Obviously, there's, the big tragedy at the end of January. I've had a couple personal things go on. You've had a couple personal things go on. My daughter turns 10 this week. It's just there's a lot happening. So, so sorry, but bear with us, and we're still here and all that stuff. We just are floating through life right now.
We're not floating.
Hair are changing.
We've got cinder blocks strapped to our ankles, and we're
struggling
to stay above water.
It's like that Lil Wayne lyric, concrete shoes won't help in the river. Jeez, they sure ain't.
Oh, man.
They sure ain't. But, I guess last episode we didn't really have a lot to follow up on because it was such a short episode with the Mamba tribute, the Altabellis, the Paytons, the Chesters, and Mauser and Zobayans. We did their tribute, and then we predicted Celtics 76ers and Nova Butler were our predictions.
I think so, yeah.
So if we're missing anything, sorry if you were wanting to hear it, but you guys know we do this pretty much off the top, so here we are. But yeah, so the Celtics, they beat the 76ers, but they definitely, I feel like, taught them a lesson simultaneously.
Weren't you telling me that the 76ers, didn't they shoot 36%?
Yeah, something like that. So, 37,
and the score
I think
was
it was
what?
It was 116 to 95 or something like that. Was the score
if they had shot at even 50%,
they would have won
the game. I don't think that people understand.
They don't.
People don't understand that. Shooting 36% in the game and making 96 points.
Yeah. You gotta miss a lot of shots.
You miss a lot of shots. That's shitty.
You have to miss a lot of shots for sure. It's kind of alarming to think about how many shots you have to miss in that situation.
I think I've only gotten 36% on something, one thing in my life.
I think I've only gotten 36% on something I didn't give a fuck about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry, Mom, but I'm pretty sure you can agree on that.
I'm being totally honest. I think it was in English and I didn't read the book.
Fair. Fair. I don't think the 76ers have that excuse, though, because it was definitely in English for them. It's definitely in English. But yeah, I think I mentioned, I think it was 2 episodes ago, I mentioned that somebody in my NBA fantasy league said that they think the 76ers are going to be the powerhouse of the East. And after that game, I'm like, you sure? Because that's definitely not the case. So sorry, Jared.
36%.
Goodbye, Joel. Sit down, Ben Simmons. Man, y'all suck.
All right.
But then also in the Celtics 76ers game, Brown and Tatum combined for 57 points.
What were their percentages? Did they was their percentage more than what the team percentage was?
God,
they scored over half the points.
Sure, they had to have been in the 40s. Good God. Oh my God! If we weren't using my phone voice record, I would look it up.
Should we look it up?
Right now. Oh God! I don't know. I don't think I want to know. We might just sit here making fun of the 76ers for the whole episode if we do that. But another stunner though that we covered in our predictions was the Butler-Nova game, which I love Nova. I was a huge Ryan Arcidiacono fan the year that they won the championship. But Butler beat Nova by 3 points, which Nova was ranked 10th, and I think Butler was ranked either 17th or 19th, I think, at the time of the game. And so I was definitely pretty surprised that Butler pulled out the W. But obviously, it was a scrappy game for sure. When any seeded teams like that go against each other, it's always going to be a battle. But I was bummed to hear that Nova lost. I love Nova, love seeing them compete. So Nova, get it together. They're still ranked 10, but I just, like I said, I'm not particularly a Nova fan, but I always kind of root for them, especially when it gets closer to March Madness and stuff like that. They're one of those teams who kind of sneak on by those bigger squads. They're fun to watch too. So, but I feel like we have so much to talk about this episode. I feel like our bullet points on our list over here off the side of the camera is so long. I don't think I've ever had this many sports on it at once, like bullet points. Yeah, I just, side note, I had an eye exam last week, and I cannot see the board as well as I used to be able to, so I'm kind of like...
You messed up your contact prescription.
Well, yeah, there's some other details that I'll have to tell you about that, but yeah, he intentionally dialed it back because my eyes were over-focusing.
Oh, well that makes sense then. It's going to be a couple weeks to adjust. I managed an eye exam, FYI. So I'm not talking on my ass.
So I'm sorry for the off-topic conversation, but yeah, obviously I know that about her, so that's why I just said
I was just enlightening you all as to why I squint like an old lady all the time. Because I haven't had an eye exam.
And if they're regular listeners, they do know that we have the key points, bullet points, whiteboard, behind the scenes, because we definitely can't go off the top as much as we'd like to, but we definitely don't use as many notes as some other podcasts do. So we try to obviously keep the commentary natural, as you just saw with the iClinic comments. What about that fight this weekend, though?
Confession, didn't buy it.
That's fine. I was out of town with the little one.
I was drained. I honestly didn't know if I was going to be awake for it.
Right. I don't know. I know that some people are a little disappointed in the way that John Jones won it. Yeah,
I read up on it. I looked at some statistics.
What do you read in the rounds? 3-2, right? Unanimous?
He won a unanimous. I think I saw that 2 of the judges scored it like 27-29 or something. Jones. It didn't, I think it was, from what I remember, Jones, Reyes. Oh,
as far as the rounds
and the 5th could have gone either way.
Okay.
Again, I didn't watch the fight. I just looked at the post-fight stats. And, it didn't look like Jones should maybe have. I don't know that he should have won.
That's kind of what I was hearing. I was actually, so I was texting with somebody who was watching the fight actively, and of course giving me updates and things like that. And then of course as the round ends, you see the the video updates on Twitter and Instagram, and Bleacher Report, and all those things like that. So I definitely, like, the commentary that I saw throughout most of the fight was definitely to the effect that Jones shouldn't have.
Yeah, the people that I follow, as far as like the fight world is concerned, it didn't.
We gotta
look
get T-Bear Tim back on here.
It didn't look that well. Like, he's one of them that I was reading up like what his commentary was on it, and I mean he was one of them that said too that like it didn't look like Jones should have been the one that won that.
Right. I think so. Yeah, well, and hopefully we'll get to see a rematch out of that one, because it's definitely, obviously a great fight. Yeah. But I think that from what I heard, if it wasn't for a lot of Jones's takedowns, he probably wouldn't have had a chance at winning. Yeah. So, definitely. I mean, I don't know. I'm one of those people who I'd prefer to see a UFC fight stand up. I know there are a lot of people who like to see takedowns and things like that, but I like to see the KOs. I like to see knees to the face and feet to the face and all that stuff.
I mean, there's just a lot of technical things and strategy that goes into that ground game, and when you get some of those really good ground game people,
that's like where they win.
Your black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
you're tapping guys and things like that.
Yeah, even like the Diaz brothers, watching them take it to the ground, like they are vicious standing, but those guys...
Who wasn't that guy? Somebody got rear naked, choked in the last fights that we were watching. Who was? There was somebody that got rear naked, choked in a recent fight, and that's one of my favorite floor moves. Chiesa did a rear naked. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, he won with a rear naked.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So, But yeah, so I totally understand that, but I'm just one of those people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like to see a good
knock a guy out.
Brawl. Like the Robbie Lawler fight when he walked off and his lip was fucking
off
away
the side
from,
of his face,
split from his face, and his nasty wide open eyebrow, and I mean, I love it.
Right.
Give me all the blood in a fight.
Totally.
But I also really love that ground game.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
But that comes with, my dad wrestled, my brother wrestled, my high school was spent wrestling tournaments.
Right. So yeah, that's definitely more your style.
Yeah.
The ground game.
Yeah.
Speaking of ground game, what about the MLB? MLB has some ground game going on right now.
Yeah?
Yeah. Mookie Betts. As you guys know, I am a huge Yankees fan, and Mookie Betts used to play for the Red Sox, our biggest rival, when they do okay. But Betts to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
This is pretty big news for the MLB. I know there's a couple, an outfielder and someone else. 2 other players went with him.
Yeah.
Obviously can't remember the names off the top right now, or I'd be spitting them. But it's a pretty big move. I know a lot of Red Sox fans are pissed, which is just the way I like it. But, I mean, the Dodgers were tough to beat the last few years. I definitely feel like they're going to be even harder to beat this year. You guys know I'm saying that as a Yankees fan, so.
We should go to a Dodgers game this year.
That would be so fun. We should definitely do it, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with Betts playing. That's going to be, great time to see the Dodgers.
I've got friends down there that we can stay with, a few people.
Yeah, definitely. We should. Woo! And also, I don't know why, I'm kind of dumb for not actually leading off with this, but Super Bowl is a huge topic.
Yes!
Hello. I was wrong.
Yes!
Obviously, as you guys know, I was cheering for the Niners.
FYI, the jalapeno poppers won, but the nachos were pretty damn good too.
Casey's prediction was all about that until just
I also, my daycare family, they're big Chiefs fans, so she was really excited.
Heck yeah. Honestly, once I got over the being a Niners fan, I probably wouldn't have wanted to see anyone else but Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs win it. I've said before on record.
It was a beautiful game.
Yeah, I've said before on record that last year I was rooting for Mahomes and the Chiefs. I really loved them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to see them do it last year. Obviously, they couldn't make it happen. But like I said, if San Francisco was going to lose to anybody, I feel like it should have been the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I don't know many guys other than Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce that deserve that recognition than them. I definitely saw some really heartwarming clips of them with each of their respective dads after the game, and you can just tell how much their dads respect them, their own sons, and I think that's really cool, and they recognize how hard their little boys have worked.
One thing that really stuck with me too about the game is it was three minutes left, and everybody knew, the Chiefs had won, whatever, but then Mahomes, the camera flashed to him, and you saw him, come on guys, let's finish the game, the game.
Yeah, it's not one yet.
It's not one, he knew, but it was a really great show of sportsmanship, of class,
Speaking of sportsmanship and class, you guys are gonna kill me for this one, but there was the undrafted running wide receiver for the Chiefs, whose name I want to say Rashad is his first name, and I'm totally blanking on the last name. If you're watching, definitely shout it in the comments. Let me know, because I cannot remember for the life of me. I'm gonna go look it up when we get done recording. But he sought out Raheem Mostert, who was also an undrafted wide receiver, obviously for the 49ers. He sought him out in the tunnel after the game to exchange jerseys, because they were both undrafted and both just played on football's. I'm getting chills.
Yeah, I am
on
too.
football's biggest stage.
That's so dope.
And he did more than dapped him up. He gave him love. They hugged each other for a good 5 minutes. Talking in each other's ears, doing whatever back and forth they needed to do to give one another their recognition. But that in and of itself is really special for 2 undrafted players to get that opportunity.
Something else too that happened early. I think it was about halfway through the first half. I don't know names. I don't know who it was, but there was a touchdown made for the Chiefs, and the guy who scored the touchdown handed the ball off to somebody, the touchdown ball off to the other person, I think.
Oh.
Whoever thrown it. Because it wasn't the quarter, I don't think it was.
I remember what you're talking about.
Am I right? Yeah. It was like.
He let someone else score.
And took the ball and like made sure that he had the game ball for it and everything.
Yes.
It was really cool. It was just heartwarming to see, like, it wasn't.
I'm trying to think of the name, but I can see the play in my mind.
Like, there was no, like, beef between either teams. Like, they both.
Right.
They showed up.
Yeah.
They played. They played hard. And there was just, like, so much class. I saw so many.
And it was a great game.
Yeah, it was a really great game.
Really good back and forth.
All the players were really classy.
We're definitely not going to get on the subject of talking about the halftime show because people are pussy bitches.
If I look like J-Lo at 50, I'm going to dance on a pole in the middle of a halftime show somewhere. You can fucking bet your ass.
Right?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
That's how I feel about that.
That is what I'm saying. Like, if I could look that good, shit, I would not wear clothes anywhere.
Ever. Let them look.
So that's all I have to say about that.
But also, J-Lo, get me in touch with your trainer, please.
Yeah, no kidding. help a sister out.
That was enough to make me a switch hitter.
Help a sister out for sure. Also, in the subject of successful black quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson was announced the league MVP, which I think is agreed unanimously that that's definitely deserved. I feel like we were all anticipating to see Lamar in the Super Bowl. I feel like there was a good chunk of people out there that were pretty surprised when the Ravens lost to the Titans. So,
I mean, me included, if we're being honest. Sorry, Francis.
Definitely hated on the Titans on this show. So, definitely guilty card played, for sure. But definitely good for him. I saw a really amazing photo of him from the draft where, and I can't remember his exact position again. I'm gonna get grilled for it, but I think it was like 14th or something like that. And he's just at the draft with his mom. At this point, when the photo was taken, just laying on the table. Looking at his cell phone, obviously waiting for something to happen on the phone, waiting for a GM's phone call. And you look at that photo, and then you realize that he just got announced league MVP. And I think that is such an incredible journey from being one of the most doubted people in the league. Like, people were saying that he shouldn't even play quarterback in the NFL when he was drafted, to now being league MVP.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're all about talking about those types of stories, those inspirational stories, the ones that, you know, maybe not everybody knows how someone or some, you know, some team rose to fame or success or anything like that. And I think that Lamar Jackson is one of those stories, for sure. So I wanted to make sure we mentioned that.
Hard agreed.
Yeah, definitely the kid deserves his recognition. So super excited to see what the Ravens pull off next season. I think that they'll be, again, stunning all of us like we did not expect they would this season. So, but kind of switching gears a little bit, we've got NBA has been popping off. There's lots going on. Yeah, I'm rocking my D-Wade jersey today.
I was just going to say.
This is one of 3 D-Wade jerseys.
One of my favorite posts that you've had is that the one about, like, if you thought I was lying about sporting my D-Wade jersey all summer. Yeah, dude, that's so funny you remember that. Because what happened was... on the pontoon and everything.
Ben Simmons was wearing this jersey. He was actually wearing the gray edition of this jersey. And he was on a boat with his homies, and he tweeted the photo of him on the boat with his homies, and he was like, on this vibe all summer long, rocking the Miami Vice shirt. So I screenshotted the Twitter post. And yeah, we're out on the pontoon boat, my parents' lake house, and I'm rocking this jersey on top of the pontoon boat, you know, like piecing up, whatever. I think I was actually even dancing.
I think you were dancing, yeah.
And yeah, so I posted the photos with the screenshot. It is still on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Photos in the same slides as the screenshot said, yeah, if you thought that when I said Ben Simmons in the D-Wade earned it edition jersey all summer 19 wasn't me, you're lying. So, yeah. I would agree.
It's one of my favorite jerseys that you have. I love it.
But yeah, so if you guys don't know, D-Wade is my favorite player of all time. I was a huge fan of his at Marquette. I was a huge fan of his wife's all the way back to freaking her teeny tiny part in Love and Basketball.
Yeah.
Love Gabby Union. I love me some Dwayne Wade. From Robbins, Illinois. He's my boy. So I don't want to receive any hate from any Blazers fans when I rock my D-Wade jerseys because he's my boy. So
they can fuck off.
Exactly. And actually my next D-Wade jersey that I'm getting is the D-Wade Bulls jersey from his short time with the Bulls. So eventually you guys will see me rocking that one. But also, since we're on the subject, I feel like now's a good time to actually tell people that we kind of have a concept, if you guys haven't noticed yet, that I wear a jersey / like sports related insignia while Casey wears tie-dye.
Yeah,
so
it's very, I mean, it's rare that you see me out and about not doing something, and I'm not in tie-dye. Like, always.
Shout out the tie-dye company, by the way.
Yeah, tie-dye company is where I got this. By the way, look them up, the tie-dye company.
But so that's kind of actually what I was going to say. So if you guys have any tie-dye that you want Casey to wear, you can send it. You can contact us and ask us how to send it. And if you have any jerseys or sports-related things that you would like me to wear, I will do that also. So
I mean, or if you just have rad shirts that you think.
If you got like something badass and you want us to rep it for you, let us know. Send it. Well, at the very least, post it on our social media pages. Yeah. Shout you out. Especially if it's like company related or cause related, anything like that, for sure.
Sucker for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Sucker for
definitely love supporting good causes. So I feel like that was a good little spot to insert that tidbit. That was not planned at all, but that is definitely something that we've kind of tried to consciously keep our theme in the podcast, especially the video version, for you guys who like to watch that. So if you are interested in the jersey / shirt that myself or Casey are wearing, or if you want to be a part of us selecting what jersey we wear, definitely would love if you guys participated. So that would be cool. Yes. But yeah, so going back to my NBA topics, since I got all on my D-Wade hype there for a second. One thing that really stood out to me, just because so many people have hated on him the last couple of seasons, especially before his acquisition with the Lakers, but Dwight Howard moved to 14th on the all-time block list, which, 14th is still, it's kind of back there, but he's still in the league, and the next, few places are pretty close in numbers, so I feel like as far as, getting even to the top 10 might be pretty achievable this year, depending on how, how he performs, minutes played, all of that stuff. But David Robinson is first on the all-time blocks list, so it's kind of significant in the way that, depending on how long Dwight Howard continues to play in the NBA, he might potentially end up, in first, second, third, fourth, fifth, one of those significant spots to be talked about among, the all-time elites, and I think that's pretty cool. So definitely trying to give the Lakers all the recognition that they deserve, considering the recent tragic circumstances. Obviously, they announced Kobe and Gigi's memorial service, which I thought was really cool, the dates they picked for that.
Oh my god, You just said the dates again, and I got chills.
Yeah, me too.
Really beautiful.
Yeah, the 2/24/20. Obviously the 20 signifying the 20 years Kobe played with the Lakers.
20 years that he and Vanessa were together.
20 years that he and Vanessa were together. A lot of things. So
2 for Gigi.
2 for Gigi, 24 for Kobe. Obviously, those are definitely different points. So like I said, just trying to give the Lakers all the recognition that they can. I think a lot of people saw Bron's identical dunk to Kobe's, which was pretty cool. And then Kobe has also recently had a couple of milestones of his own. Today actually is the Oscars. When we're recording this, and 2 years ago at the Oscars was when Kobe won his Oscar for basketball. So just trying to help the Lakers remain among positivity. I think LeBron said it best, that Kobe is alive in all of us, and I think it's up to all of us to kind of lift each other up in positivity. So as we mentioned before, if there's any topics we're not covering that you guys want us to cover, make sure to drop us a line so that we can continue lifting up different teams and sports people and all that stuff in that positivity, because we definitely want to. But
coming into Dame, he showed up.
Yeah, and also there was the game against the Jazz 2 nights ago where they just got absolutely robbed on the no-call goaltending on Rudy Gobert when Dame tried to put up a layup at the end. But prior to that, I can't remember who they played. It was on the 31st of January, which was a couple Fridays ago. But he was... This is like a lot, so hang on. He's the first player in NBA history to record 35 or more points, 5 or more rebounds, 5 or more assists, and 5 or more threes in 5 straight games. So that's a lot of stats to acquire that consistently,
That's
which
insane.
is why
I'm reading it.
Yeah, off the board. And that's
nuts.
a lot. That's a lot of production.
Nuts.
And for a guy who's shooting 35 points to also have 5 assists, that's huge in and of itself. But then you see the 5+ threes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's half his fucking points right there. So.
Yeah.
And then also simultaneously set an NBA record with 40 made threes in a 5-game span. So not 40 games, obviously, or 40 threes in each game, but 40 made 3-pointers in 5 games. Which,
I mean,
my math isn't great, but
that's 8 threes a game if you're doing it evenly.
Yeah, so an average of 8 threes a game. So the dude has just been going off.
Beast.
And they play the Heat tonight, which is ironic that I'm wearing my Heat jersey while the Blazers play the Heat tonight. We're not watching the games going on while we're recording, unfortunately. So a lot of people were anticipating, because of the no call that I mentioned at the beginning of that segment, a lot of people were anticipating Dame to just go crazy tonight, and I'm sure that has happened. So definitely kind of eager to see
interested to
the
see
statistics and updates on that for sure. But obviously, trade deadline just passed. We mentioned a couple weeks ago and last week that the trade deadline was February 6th. As we know, the Minnesota Timberwolves pretty much, like, every player in the NBA plays for them now. Like, they got, like, literally, like, 7 new guys. There was a photo.
My phone was blowing up with the T-Wolves trade.
Yeah, there was a photo on their social media. It was one of those split photos where if you slide to the next photo, it's half of the same photo. And they couldn't fit all of them in one picture because there were so many new guys on the squad. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell, but then there was, like, I'm blanking so hard right now, but they got, like, 7 dudes.
Yeah.
And then Andrew Wiggins left Minnesota to join Golden State, which I saw a quote from him about, like, wanting to join a winning culture, and I'm like, bro, have you seen the Warriors' record this year? He said that all they did in Minnesota was lose, and I'm like, kind of scratching my head. Like,
they did meet their record of 11 straight.
There's the cat.
Yeah.
I tried to.
They did. What day was that? It was this week. You sent me that thing this week. They, the Timberwolves matched their record for 11 straight losses.
It was before the trade deadline. It was like 2 or 3 days before the trade deadline. It was, I think, last Monday or Tuesday, I want to say. Something like that. That's funny. It was after we recorded the Mamba episode for episode
Monday
4.
or Tuesday then, yeah.
So yeah,
Okay,
so Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, so go T-Wolves. Hopefully your new trades work out for you because that's just insane. But also, one trade that blew my mind, and our interview guest is going to touch on this quite a bit, so I don't want to get too far into it because I want to let him speak on it. But Andre Drummond traded from the Pistons. I was like, whoa, what? He's like one of their key guys. Like, why would you trade? I don't know. So, like I said, I don't want to get too far into it because our interview guest is going to be discussing that a little bit further. But, yeah, that one kind of blew my mind. So, there was a lot obviously going on out there. The Blazers didn't do anything else. Lakers didn't do anything. There was talks of them trying to get rid of Kyle Kuzma again. You guys know how much I love Kyle Kuzma. You better not say anything bad about him. Not on this show.
They can say whatever they want.
But yeah, so a lot happened, but also a lot didn't happen.
Yeah.
So that's good too. But the things that did happen happened to teams that were not mine. So thank Jesus. Like, I did not want to get rid of Hassan. I did not want to get rid of Ant Simons. People were, like, trying to talk shit about them potentially getting rid of CJ McCollum. I'm like, no.
It was a really stressful. It was a really stressful week for her. It was a really stressful week for her.
Yeah. All things aside, yeah, just the sports thing alone was pretty stressful. Hard to focus, Jesus. But obviously All-Star Weekend's coming up, so we're gonna have a lot to talk about with that. Definitely couple snubs I think happened. A couple players that should have been there that aren't. A couple players that are there that I don't think should be there. And I'm gonna get some hate for saying that, but I don't understand why Devin Booker is an all-star. But we'll just leave it at that because I don't want to get too much hate from motherfucking Phoenix fans. We already have an all-out war going with Jazz fans because of the no call the other night, so I am not trying to beef with more than one NBA fan base at a time. I don't have the mental capacity for it.
The only place that beef belongs in my life is
tacos.
Yeah. Tacos and nachos.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But switching gears, moving to NCAA basketball. Real quick, one thing that's not on the board, but Duke and UNC played last night, and Duke won by 1 point in overtime, and it was an identical game-winning shot to what Austin Rivers shot in 2012. And Wendell Moore made the shot, obviously, last night. But as you guys know, I'm a huge Duke fan, and UNC is currently unranked, and I don't want to hear any bullshit out of y'all because your team isn't even going to March Madness. So, you can't talk shit. Your team lost. They didn't even play great. The refs gave them the game. And my team saved it just by the grace of God above. So, sit down, UNC fans. I posted it on my Facebook. I'm saying it here for the record. Sit down, UNC.
Don't get her more fired up, please.
No. Like I said, I don't have the mental capacity for it today, but the emotions are there. Trust. But the one note that I did take down for NCAA men's basketball was that Kansas almost lost to unranked Texas Tech. So again, in the realm of ranked teams losing or almost losing to unranked teams, it almost happened again with Kansas and Texas Tech. Now, they're not particularly rivals like Duke and UNC are. However, those types of conversations, when we're at this stage before March Madness is about to, like, you know, February's going to be gone before we know it, and March will be here, and the dances, we're going to be filling out brackets soon.
It's a leap year, though, so...
We got one extra day. It's going to feel like a half a day. Yeah. But, you know, those big games, you can get knocked back a few seeds just by losing to an unranked team. So it definitely, obviously, all counts as far as where people land in the big tournament and things like that. So things to keep an eye on as far as NCAA men's basketball goes is those ranked teams losing to unranked teams. But then also in the women's basketball side of things, obviously, again, huge Oregon fan, as we all know. And this game was particularly emotional for me to watch just because it was Oregon, who we all know Kobe was a huge supporter of Sabrina Ionescu. And then UConn, who Gigi was a fan of. They actually went to the extent to leave her a dedicated seat at one of their games. But Oregon delivered UConn their biggest home loss. And it was actually Oregon's first time ever winning on the road to a top 5 team.
Wow.
Also.
Wow.
But like I said, it
really?
was... Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was surprised to hear that too. I know, it's kind of a weird stat, but it's definitely one of those ones that when you think about it, and you think, like I said, first time ever losing or winning on the road to a top 5 team. Oh, she's gonna sneeze. Bless you. You scared the cat.
Good, get out of here, bitch.
But like I said, it was kind of emotional for me to watch just because, like I mentioned, Kobe and Gigi most likely would have been there. Obviously, we can't say what they had planned or anything for the upcoming weeks when, you know, they passed tragically. But I'm pretty confident that they would have been at that game.
Probably.
It was, like I said, it was at UConn, so I just think it would have been one of those things that we would have seen them at. So, that's kind of all we really made notes of as far as sports news goes. So, we are, again, for this episode, filming the interview portion of it just slightly separately than the rest of the content. So we are going to switch gears and put in the interview for you guys, and then we'll come back and finish up with our cultural things, and then finish up the episode with some predictions. So hope you guys enjoyed the interview. It is NBA/All-Star themed, just given the circumstances. The All-Star game is this weekend. So enjoy.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, okay, cool. I'm super excited for today's guest because obviously we have NBA All-Star Weekend coming up, as we discussed. We have Moe Ayache from RTNBA. Yeah, you can say what's up to the people. Anybody who's
yo.
You. But gosh, I think we have been connected on social media for like at least a year or more now.
A while. A while.
I think I joined the RTNBA following when I was still pretty small. Like I think it was like around like 16K.
That's awesome.
Like that. Yeah, so I've been a part of RTNBA
day one.
Or day oneer, I would like to call myself. But talk a little bit about like what your inspiration for starting that, other than obviously outside of having a passion for the NBA. But how did that kind of all transpire into like an account, you know what I mean? Like a legit following account. You're at what, like 79K now on the Instagram?
Yeah, on Instagram. Yeah, it's something like that, maybe like 70 something. I don't really know, but it's definitely getting up there, and it's grown a lot over the past year compared to the other years. But I started it for fun. I was a ballet in 2012 and just really bored, and my personal account was like popping on Twitter. And I saw this one guy, NFL retweet, and he was doing pretty well. Some like hit him up. I was like, yo, you mind if I try this out? And he was like, yeah, you can do an NBA one. I was like, okay, cool, let's do this. So I started it, went pretty well, and then like kind of hit this wall. And before I even started, he told me like, hey, like 5 others have tried and they've quit. So like, I don't want you to be the 6th person. I was like, yeah, man, no problem. So when I hit that wall, I hit him up and I was like, yo, I don't know if this is for me. And then he was like, remember what I told you when we first talked? And I was like, yeah, man, I got you. So I stopped looking at it at the way I was, and I started just being myself, stopped trying to be someone else. And it kind of took off from there. And then another thing is I started following people back so people could DM me at all times.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember Twitter back then, you couldn't just DM anyone. So I kind of gave people like the gateway to message me. People would ask me about relationship advice, who's the best point guard. Like I will get the weirdest questions and I just always respond to them. So
yeah.
It helped out a lot.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Do you have like a most memorable moment or maybe retweet or conversation that you've had with either an athlete or somebody that you hold as like a role model in the NBA?
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. I had a tweet when Matt Barnes, the ball fake.
Yep.
You guys remember that? The Matt Barnes.
Yeah.
So I tweeted that out and Kobe quote tweeted it and said, "This is what I say to my critics." And this is when he first like made his Twitter account and it went bananas. So that's probably the best thing ever. Just knowing that the legend, rest in peace, like the Mamba, noticed it and was able to say something, and it caught a lot of eyes.
That's so cool. So, obviously, with that being like a big thing that kind of like started a lot of your recognition. What other? I know you went to NBA G League over the summer, right?
Summer League, yeah.
Drew League, right? You also went to
the Summer League.
Yeah, so like what are some of the like maybe top three coolest events that you've been able to be at or be a part of through what you've been able to do?
NBA All-Star Weekend last year was amazing. Barely slept, but had a wonderful time. Ended up going to every single event, and I had no idea I was going to go to any of them, but I ended up at every single event. So, I mean, even dunk contest and everything, it was the best because I was recording it on my phone and just uploading it straight to Twitter and Instagram, straight from my phone. I would say, honestly, the top 3 moments fall in that weekend, but if we're talking outside of that weekend, Summer League was pretty cool too. If we're talking about sports, it was an amazing time. And then every time I go out to either New York or Los Angeles, I get to meet with the companies I work with, and I've known for however many years, and it's cool to like connect and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. So you kind of gave me a little bit of a tidbit before we talked about you coming on the podcast. You kind of have like a little bit of a podcast curse.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Will you tell people about that so we can maybe help break that for you? Because obviously we talked about it, but you found yourself back in the same position a couple of days ago, obviously right before you came on the pod with us now. So it's like perfect situation for this curse to happen again. So tell the people about that.
In June, I recorded a podcast in Detroit. And I was actually scared my car was going to get stolen while I was recording the podcast. But it didn't. So I got away. I got out of there, ended up going to sleep right after Game 5 NHL Finals. I think the Blues were up 4-1 on the Bruins. I might be wrong, but I think that's what happened.
No. We don't gotta quote stuff on here.
Woke up at 6 a.m. And my car was stolen. And I kind of related it back to the podcast. I was just like, that was annoying. And then I dealt with that. I mean, I got the car back, though. They recovered it, so I got it back. And then literally, like, 2 weeks ago, I was in New York with my buddy Jack, and we, like, recorded the podcast. And he was like, why don't you do more podcasts? And I was like, the last time I did one, my car was stolen. And then he's like, good thing, like, it won't get stolen this time. And, like, we both cracked a joke. We're like, yeah, like, I didn't even got my car with me. You know, I'm in New York. You know, I didn't even got my keys with me. Little do you know, I got back home. I think like the second or third night, my car was gone, and I texted him that morning. I was like, "Yo, bro, like my car is stolen." He's like, "Shut up." I'm like, "No, like swear to God, my car is stolen." Yeah, and then so that was the day I was leaving LA, and then I put up that Instagram story like about the podcast and whatnot. And it's funny because I had scheduled the podcast with you like a month or something before that, you know. So I'm like, I'm not gonna back out, you know, like it's already set in stone. But when I put that up, a bunch of people hit me up like, "Yo, are you trying to get on my podcast? Like, you want to get on my podcast?" And I'm like, "Yo, I'm good for now. I'm good for now." But the good thing is, I got you. But the good thing is, I don't have a car right now, so I don't think they can steal anything from me. So I'm good for now.
All right,
Yeah.
You, like I said, you found the car that got stolen again, and it was in pretty bad shape from what I saw.
It's done. Yeah, no motor, no trunk, no airbag. It's done. Yeah.
That's
No.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah, it's
sorry.
gone.
So, I don't know if a lot of people caught it, but you mentioned that you're from Detroit. So, tell me your feelings about the Andre Drummond trade. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Street silence, sheer disappointment.
Yeah, I was mad. I actually took I think I took like 10, 15 minutes and just like didn't want to tweet right away because I was mad. I was like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
especially, and like, it's funny because I reported the trade after I saw what happened. And then I said, like, I bet we're getting Kevin Love. Because I was like, we'll get something nice. Kevin Love, you know, we might get Tristan Thompson. But we get freaking Brandon Knight, John Henson, and a second round pick. And the kid's probably still in middle school. I think 2023. We're 3 or 4 years away. Like, come on, like.
Yeah, it does nothing for us now.
Yeah. So one thing, I didn't want him to leave. I don't care who the heck we got for him, but it was kind of insulting that that's what we got for him. Like, you might as well keep him. Like, and then it's funny because we lose to the Knicks, and I think they out rebounded us by I think like 18 or something, something crazy. It's like, you know what could have helped us in that position?
Yep. No.
Just imagine maybe a top 5. What about the best rebounder in the game?
That's terrible. That's
so
terrible.
Clearly tank mode for sure.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, no, Mo is so heartbroken.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I thought immediately of you.
I think you even texted me about it right away, too. You were like, Mo's going to be so upset with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was reckless. I'm still mad about it, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It's part of it. I mean, obviously, look what happened with Minnesota. I can't believe that they end up with deloading and Andrew Wiggins goes to Golden State. Before our interview, I made a comment about how I saw a quote from Andrew Wiggins saying that he wanted to play with a winning team and talking about Golden State. And I'm like, bro, have you seen their record this year?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Next year when they get,
that's just his way of,
if they even keep him.
Yeah, I just did as his way of, as a player, of just trying to justify the trade that happened. Make it sound like he's going to a good team, but
yeah.
I mean, maybe the Wolves will finally turn it around. They have another personal record.
Did they win tonight?
I don't know if they lost tonight, what did I send you? I literally sent her something earlier about they had a 13-game losing streak that they snapped the night before last.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we were texting back and forth about their 11-game losing streak. Because I follow Jen, is my girl, shout out to her on Twitter that I follow. She's a big T-Wolves fan, huge T-Wolves fan. And so I was kind of sending Casey some tweets of hers talking about the losing streak. Because Casey is from North Dakota. So.
North Dakota?
Yeah.
Oh, God. So you guys support Minnesota out there?
I mean, I'm the only Minnesota team that I pay any sort of attention to is the Twins, if I'm being totally honest.
And as far as NBA teams, I think they're one of the closest.
Yeah, the Timberwolves is like closer.
And the Bucks, maybe?
Oh yeah, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the Bucks.
The Timberwolves are closer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Minneapolis is only 3.5 hours from Fargo, and Milwaukee's like an 8-hour drive.
Dang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Kevin Garnett, were you a Kevin Garnett fan?
I mean, a little bit. I enjoyed watching them. I didn't really get into the Timberwolves. I watched a lot of like the West Coast teams when I was growing up. Yeah. So
Makes sense.
I watched a lot of the Laker games. I guess I watched some Bulls games too. Yeah. Because Jordan was still playing when we were growing up too.
Definitely.
Yeah, I didn't really get into Minnesota basketball, I guess.
Right, yeah.
I don't know that they've ever been a real winning team.
That's probably why.
No, they've been losing. They've been losing for a long time.
Yeah. It's hard to follow. You can deal with them if you need to. She's got dogs trying to attack us.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
You can deal with it. Yeah. But you mentioned Kobe earlier. I don't want to touch too much on it just because I know it's kind of a heavy thing for a lot of us. But as far as like biggest, most memorable Kobe moments, whether basketball or non-basketball, talk about one of your favorites, and just kind of like your favorite Kobe thoughts, just because we're on the topic of it.
Yeah. I feel like Kobe just started coming out of the shell and like coming out in the public and being himself and showing people and like dapping up LeBron and stuff. So I thought he was gonna be like a staple at the Staples Center and, you know, be there. And, you know, he made so much money with Body Armor. I was looking forward to more investments. So business side and then his personality coming out because basketball's behind him now. And then like his daughter, or should I say his daughters, possibly hooping, all of them hooping, you know. So I wanted to see him be a coach, investor, and just be like a personality. But
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that. I think I know that there's a lot of celebrities and former players that have touched on the fact that he was just starting to like show like really his true character and like really give like his contribution to the world. So I definitely agree with you on that. I think
his quotes are hilarious. Like you would think they're fake, but the quotes are so funny, and that's just how he was. And you know what? Like it's fine. You can be yourself, and he was great.
Yep.
You know.
Yep, definitely. It's funny because I just, obviously with the start of the podcast and everything, I just recently, within probably the last year, got into listening to a bunch of podcasts. And obviously, I have my 10-year-old daughter, The Punies, his podcast that he created for kids, was one that we would listen to all the time. And I remember telling my daughter, like, this is Kobe Bryant's podcast and, like, all of that stuff. And she just thought it was so cool. And, it was just right up there as far as creativity goes with pretty much any other, like, kids thing out there. You know, if you didn't say, like, oh, this is a Kobe Bryant creation, people would never know. You know what I mean? He was just trying to teach kids about the common issues and differences that kids sometimes face and kind of how to navigate those things. And I just think that was really cool that he was trying to leave his mark on the younger generations rather than just try and focus on the people that, you know, his peers and people that he came up with and things like that too. So
I think one of my favorite things about him too was his class. Like he was just always so classy. He worked really hard. One of my favorite interviews was with Kimmel. Kimmel played a post-game like celebration where somebody jumped in on, I don't remember who the players were, but
on the interview.
One jumped in on the other on the interview. And after they played the little snippet, Kimmel
Nick Young, when they were like, they were like talking crap.
Yeah.
And then he was like, if I was there, that would have happened.
Ma'am.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It was
Nick
Young talking about Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
I totally know what clip you're talking about.
I loved it.
I loved it. So funny. Yeah, I remember that. He was like, man, if I was there, they would not
do
that.
Yeah, no.
Just the respect that he commanded by being in a room, I think, was really amazing. Like, it spoke a lot to that. To me, I think spoke more than anything that I've seen is just what he could command by walking into a room, the respect that everybody had for him as an athlete, as a person, all around.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I think also he, like, from the stories that I've heard about people in broadcasting, people like Moe around, you know, sports and the NBA and stuff like that, he had a second for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you caught his attention for just a second, he engaged as he could. And I think he was one of the first, like, players to really set the precedent for players interacting more on social media with not just each other, but the fans and the public also. So I just think, we have to stop and talk about him for a second. Obviously, it's
that's fine.
Account, so just had to pause on that for a second. But there was obviously all-star talk going on. What are in your opinion, one in the East and one in the West, biggest all-star snubs for this year?
Andre Drummond East.
I knew you were
West.
him.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Obviously, I'm gonna say that. West. I don't really know. I feel like the people that I thought were gonna get snubbed actually got in. Like Rudy Gobert got in.
Right.
Who else? Brandon Ingram got in. I was so happy for that.
Me too.
Snub. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know.
P.S. of Brandon Ingram, he has blossomed as a Pelican. Holy cow! I didn't really have him in mind as a topic to discuss, but then you just mentioned him, and I'm like, holy cow! Let's stop and talk on him for a second. Do you think that Zion has helped him, or do you think he has helped Zion?
I don't know if I could even say they've helped each other, just because Zion's only played a few games, and Brandon Ingram's just been going crazy. You know what I mean? But then again, there's not that many scores on that team, so he needs to do that. But he's making shots. They're going in. It's not where LA, where he was kind of having flashes of when people say Kuzma, he'll miss some shots and be like, oh my God, why is he on the team? Even though all respect to Kuzma, I think he's great, and I'm happy he stayed in LA. But people used to treat Brandon Ingram like that. People used to treat Brandon Ingram like that. So I'm happy that he's playing well.
Yeah, me too. Back to All-Star really quick. Who are, as far as obviously outside the All-Star game, are there any specific events that you're excited to see? What's 3-point contest, dunk contest? What's your favorite?
If we can get some stars in the dunk contest, that'd be cool. But I don't know what's going on with these guys. And you saw LeBron that dunked the other night. He still has it. Everyone knows he still has it. I feel like he's gonna give it to us one time before he leaves. And when he does do that, everyone's gonna do it. But probably 3-point contests and the All-Star game, just because All-Star game's a bunch of flashy stuff.
Right.
And then 3-point contests, who doesn't like shooting? And now that's a staple in the NBA. Dunk contests, though, we'll see. They usually disappoint. It hasn't it's not great every year. Some years will be yo, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
But I'm so excited for every single event. I'm gonna have a good time in Chicago, and hopefully I get to go to every single event again.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to watch your story.
What about, we talked about it on one of the earlier episodes. There was scuttlebutt, somebody suggesting a one-on-one tournament during All-Star Weekend.
Oh, it's Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum suggested.
What are your feelings on that? Would that be something that you'd love to see? Feasible?
Yeah.
Feelings, thoughts?
Yeah.
Contributions?
Yeah, easily. I think I tweeted the other night after the Dame got robbed on a foul and one and the goaltend that we should do Donovan Mitchell versus Dame Lillard 1v1 All-Star Weekend. But
I'm for it.
Yeah, Dame would just destroy him, but I don't think it would ever happen because injuries and stuff like that. No player wants to risk anything, and especially getting embarrassed for a freaking one-on-one.
Totally. No, I think no, that's a really great point, because I personally like the idea of it, but now that you say that, I'm that's a really good point, because I don't think they would. Now that you say that, I think it's too much on the line for them to do a 1-versus-1, and it would be, I think, in the players' eyes, that's something that would be strictly only for the fans.
If we're being totally honest, my opinion is that they're gonna look at the ego, how it's gonna butthurt their ego over getting injured.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're nah, I don't gain anything from that.
Yeah, if let's just say Donovan Mitchell crosses Dame that's gonna be on the internet for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
People will literally be roasting him every single day. So that's something you really never see one-on-one clips. Like you'll see 1-on-5, like Kyrie and First Team USA. That clip is around till this day. I see it probably 5 times a week.
Yeah, and that was like what, 4 or 5 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
that's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. God, there was something else that I was gonna ask you about All-Star Weekend too, and now I'm kind of blanking on what it was. Oh, I was gonna talk to you about the Dame No Call, but you just mentioned that you tweeted about it, and I was so happy that you tweeted and posted an Instagram post about it, because Rip City was literally so pissed. Obviously Ariza has only been with us for a short while, but I have never seen him treat a ref like that with any team he's ever been with, nor has any of Rip City ever seen Dame that pissed ever. So
I was shocked. Like I was looking at him and I was like, yo, he's trying to fight the ref. Like what is going on? It's just a game, but then again I'm like, yeah, he's been going off lately. Like he deserved that, you know? And then when they kept on showing the replay, and then I guess I kind of understood why he was doing that, because after there's reports saying that the ref told them like it wasn't even a close call.
Yes, I saw those reports too.
So I would be mad as hell too if I saw something with my own eyes and the replay is literally showing it, and then you got the ref saying, "What are you talking about? Like, no, are you blind?"
Yeah, and you're all staring at the Motron, watching it over and over again in the arena.
Oh yeah, I'd be mad. I'd be heated. And I usually don't tweet that late because people usually sleeping, but I was tweeting because I was pissed.
Everybody on the West Coast was up for it.
Yeah.
Everybody that's siding with Dame right now, we're retweeting it. We're here for it. But what do you? I saw a couple opinions on people saying that like, in this instance, like the refs should be fine. Like, what's your opinion on like how this, like, how does the NBA like handle things like this when people?
Yeah.
What do you suggest?
I think that Secaucus should call in, if they still do it there, and be like, "Yo, you messed up. Look at this. You gotta change it." So at the end of the day, like if we're sitting at home and we're watching it, and you can tell clearly it's a mistake and clearly it's swinging the game.
It's game
Someone
decision.
needs to step in.
Yeah.
Someone needs to step in, and I don't care what sport it is, NFL, MLB, all that. Like they need to step in if it's something like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so you're kind of on the road where, like, with NFL, if there's a call made and the
Look, I'm a Lions fan. Do you know how we've been screwed so much that
yeah. Like if somebody in the overseeing of the replay department is like, no, that's the wrong call, they get to
game-changing calls, like the last 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't want to hear anything about the first quarter, second quarter. I don't care about that. Game-changing calls.
Game deciding. I'm with you on that for sure, because I definitely
last chunk of last 3-5 minutes, whatever.
Definitely think. Now I'm honestly prior to this comment, I was unintentionally doing multiple Blazers questions, but this one is intentional. Did you see the Anthony Simons, the leg sweep that Royce O'Neal pulled on Anthony Simons in the Jazz game? So apparently they're at the top of the key, and Royce O'Neal intentionally leg sweeps Anthony Simons, and Anthony obviously goes down, hits his head concussion, and he's been out since then. So what's your opinion? What's your opinion on a player blatantly hurting another player like that? Like how?
I have to see it. I can't comment on something I didn't see because, for instance, some of the Draymond Green stuff that people were like going crazy about, I thought I'm like, that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, that's okay. Totally. And like even to the point where like his mom DM'd me and showed me clips of him in high school doing the same exact thing he's doing right now. Like it was part of his natural movement. Like people talk about him like kicking nuts. Like from what I see, like it was kind of natural. Like don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna say every single thing he's done is natural and clean, but there are some things that people were mad about, and I was just like, I'm gonna just stay in my corner and stay quiet, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Because people on the internet are just gonna give you freaking
anything that they can,
if they disagree with it. But it's not even worth it.
And I'm not saying Draymond Green is a clean player, and I'm not saying that he doesn't do anything intentionally. Vice versa. Like, yeah, he has his moments. Everyone has their moments.
Yeah, that is kind of a cool tidbit, though, that you got to interact with his mom for a brief moment on social media, and she kind of got, the opportunity to set people straight via you.
Yeah, and his mom is pretty outspoken on Twitter. Like, she's defending Draymond, like, every night. Yeah, she's on there. She's like one of the Twitter moms.
My mama heart can relate.
Yeah, totally. No, I don't blame her one bit.
I'll be that mom.
Did you see his, speaking of Draymond, comment about Andre Iguodala and giving him
flagrant too? Yeah, I loved it. I tweeted it out. Yeah, I had to.
Just for the sake of the joke that he's gonna follow through on that?
I don't know. Is the game's on right now, right?
I think so. I think it is on right now.
Yeah. He's not gonna get ejected, but I mean, at this point, what's he have to lose?
Right.
They're gonna lose.
Yeah, you might as well. Yeah.
I mean, actually, they don't have Jimmy Butler, so I don't know. Maybe they'll win, but still, they have nothing. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah, well, and I think it's not going to be until at least a week or two after the All-Star game that Steph comes back, so they're not even going to get to see any real action.
Is he really? He's coming back in February?
I think so. I saw some clips of him with no wraps, no braces, no nothing on his wrist or anything like that, and he was, full ball handling. So we'll see. I don't know. I know
they'll bring him back for like
him out all year. So we'll see. But I think that Steph is the type of guy who would want to go out and play if he's healthy. You know what I mean? So
maybe like 6 games to end the season or something. I don't know.
Yeah, give him.
I feel like they haven't ruled him out for ticket sales. I mean, it's a brand new arena, so
4 or 5 minutes at the top of every quarter, here and there. Just give him a few minutes at the end of the season so that he can at least get playing time after his injury.
Yeah.
But I mean, luckily this season though, so knock on wood, has been a pretty injury-free season as far as in-season goes. Last year there was some bad ones, so.
Yeah, no major injuries, but my Pistons have been hurt the whole year. Like, literally, Reggie Jackson's been out, came back. Derrick Rose is in and out. Christian Wood, I think, got hurt tonight. Even Dre, I think, had an allergic reaction with his eyes and missed a couple games. Yes, V's out, I think, tonight. Bruce Bowen, I think, was injured a little bit. So there's been a lot of injuries on the Pistons. I think tonight was the first time it was like one pager. So no major injuries. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm in the same boat as a Blazers fan. God, last
Nurkic's
night.
coming back.
Gosh, yeah, we played with 7 guys last night because Ariza got ejected. And then, or not last night, the night before when we played the Jazz, Ariza got ejected, and then Anthony Simons, like I said earlier, went down after the Royce O'Neal leg sweep. And so we were playing with 7 healthy players, which was another part of the reason why Dame was so pissed about that no call at the end of the game, just because they obviously played.
Was Whiteside out that game too?
Yeah,
I saw him in his suit, but I don't know if it was that game.
Leg contusion or something random like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, and then we played the Heat also, and we played them on Sunday night. So, I'm right there with you. Our guys are struggling, but they're trying to make the playoff race. So I feel for you.
Yeah, we're not making no playoffs. So
yeah, we'll see. I think we're either 6 or 8 games back. I can't remember right now.
You guys have a chance. You guys have Damian Lillard. You guys have a chance.
Yeah, we have a chance. You have a chance. But like I said earlier, my heart definitely went out to you when I saw that Andre Drummond trade news.
Yeah, it was rough.
But I know you're a busy guy. I want to get you going. Don't want to keep you too long. But before we wrap up for the evening, I want to get your all-star prediction, East or West. I already know what you're going to say because you're over there, but give us your real genuine prediction, not your East Coast bias prediction.
It's going to be like, I don't know. I haven't adjusted to the new Kobe rules, but I heard, you saw that paragraph. Like, I'm not reading that. Like, I'll read that the day of the game. But isn't it supposed to end when it hits a certain score, like 124 or something?
I'm glad you asked because I read that stupid paragraph like 5 times that I could try to understand.
And you still don't know?
So I'm going to give it to you the best that I can.
Okay.
So at the end of every quarter, the score resets, and at the end of the third quarter, they add them all up, and then the team that has the most points, the aim score for the end of the game is 24 points above that team's high compound score.
Okay.
So, for example, if West ends the third quarter with 100 points, the target score for the game is 124 points. And then when they score 4 points, whoever gets to 124 points is the winner.
Yeah, it sounds confusing, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe we'll like it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but I'm definitely really glad that they decided to do the Kobe and Gianna tribute. I know there was a lot of talk about them doing 8 and 24, but I'm glad they decided to do 2 and 24 for Kobe and Gianna, and obviously there's going to be lots of tributes to them all throughout the weekend and stuff like that too. So
yeah,
really excited. Yes. Super thankful that you gave us your time to come on and talk with us. Definitely really appreciate you. Hopefully nothing else happens with your car.
Yes.
No more car drama.
Fingers crossing.
Yo, if you see my Instagram story and I'm talking about another car stolen, like, no more. No more podcasts.
We owe a mistake dinner or something if that happens.
Yeah. God, yeah, it's on me, Jesus Christ. But no, we thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. Love what you're out there doing, giving people really, really badass NBA content. Please keep it up. Please keep doing what you're doing. We love it. So appreciate you. Take care of yourself. Have a great night.
Thank you too for having me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Take care. Thank you.
What a cool interview. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I personally have a soft spot for Moe from RTNBA. He's been like a good social media / internet friend of mine pretty much since I started like engaging with NBA Twitter. He was like one of the first big like NBA accounts that I came across and like started interacting with. So really kind of cool, like from the start for me to have him on. So I hope you guys like that as much as I did, because it's definitely one of the first people, I mean, you can attest to it, that I had on our interview list. So always cool to see those things.
Now everybody just leave his car the fuck alone. Okay?
Stop stealing his car!
Leave his car alone.
And third time's a charm. Like, hopefully we can break that curse.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh, man. Yeah, definitely. Got love for the guy. That shit sucks.
That's horrible.
But so, just to wrap up episode 5 for you guys. God, that's so weird. Episode 5 already.
Wow.
Whew. Thanks for still being here. But we have a couple culture topics, and then we have like a handful of predictions for you guys. We're trying to keep it live and spicy every episode and kind of switch things up here and there. And obviously with sports, there's kind of more to talk about one week and more to look forward to the next, and things like that. So
roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. So we mentioned this first guy earlier, obviously Pat Mahomes, but I wanted to save this particular conversation for the culture aspect of the pod, because I just think it's really cool. It kind of shows you how down to earth he is, and also kind of shows you just how much the team that he plays for, the town of Kansas City, Missouri, embraces him and their athletes. But I read a story on Twitter that Pat Mahomes and his beautiful girlfriend Brittany were eating at a restaurant in Kansas City, and I think because of the way that the tweet was shared, I think that Pat and Brittany were kind of surprised that this happened, but they were just allowed to eat in peace. Just the two of them. Nobody came up to them for autographs, no photos. They did not bother them. They did not try to speak at all in conversation to them. They just let them be and enjoy their meal like regular folks. And this is the coolest part of it, but was found, obviously, by all of the people in the restaurant, that when they left, not only did Patrick, you know, turn at the entrance of the restaurant at the door and say, hey, thank you guys so much for letting us enjoy our meal. Like, this is why I love Kansas City, Missouri. Not only did he do that and collectively thank the restaurant as a whole, he paid for everybody's meals. Like, class act, just above and beyond. You know, like, gratitude, you can say gratitude, you can say thankful, you can say all of those things about the team or the city that holds the team that you play for when you're not
He's
from
just
there.
really fucking classy.
But he is, that's just true, genuine character right there. Obviously, you know, he was raised by Patrick Mahomes Sr., just great guy all around. I think that's such a cool story. It caught my eye. I think I remember screenshotting it.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
Like, right when I saw it.
Which is funny. I got like four or five different people that like sent that to me.
Yeah. It's just a cool thing. And again, one of the reasons why I just love Patrick Mahomes. He's just an easy guy to root for. He's that guy that, you know, when good stuff happens to him, you feel like it happened to you. Kind of stuff. So it's just kind of one of those, like, feel-good stories, I feel. Like, there's been a lot of tragedy that's been talked about the last couple of weeks, and that's, of course, natural given the circumstances, but always good to kind of share those upbeat, more positive things that let people know that athletes are...
They're just like,
human.
They're human. They're real people.
It's more than a game. We always say it. I feel like we say it every episode. But
they enjoy going out and having a dinner that's uninterrupted, just like you and I.
Yeah, and Pat Mahomes and his girlfriend have actually been together since he was in college. So pretty much since he was like just an unknown quarterback, just out there doing his thing in college. Yeah. Trying to pass the study time, you know, with an athletic event. They've been together since those days, so I think it's really special also to allow the players' loved ones to somewhat feel normal again, you know what I mean? Because they have together known at least a somewhat normal pre-existence to his NFL, you know, caricature. But thought that was cool. Just wanted to throw that in there for you guys. But on the...
Also speaking NFL.
Yeah, exactly. On the same topic line, I kind of just like... It's up on our board actually as just XFL dash NFL. Because I kind of just want to talk about like the verses, like the comparisons. I tweeted and I was like, hey, who here watches XFL? Like just curious. And like a handful of people responded to me. They're like, yeah, I'm watching right now. Or like, yeah, I watched, you know, last year or whatever and stuff like that. But from what I understand, they have coaches mic'd, and they have huddle cameras and locker room cameras. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot more like inside look, or at least like a game time inside look. Yeah. Versus what NFL shows us. And you made a good point before we started recording when I told you I wanted to talk about this. That like. Your husband, when you guys watch, he's always like, I want to know what he just said to him. I want to know, like, what instruction he just gave to his players. Yeah, like,
we were watching the Super Bowl, like, at halftime, he's like, I want to hear what the San Francisco coach is talking about in that locker room. Like, what's he saying to those guys? Like, what does that huddle look like? I can just imagine.
Yeah, like, is he calm, collected? Is he, like, fiery? Is he angry? Is he bitching them out?
Yeah, or there was one of the bigger plays that... an interception or turnover or whatever, and I don't remember what play it was exactly, but you could see visibly the pissed coaching staff. And he made the comment too, he's like,
I would not want Robert Saleh to be pissed at me.
He's like, I want to know what the fuck he's saying. What is he saying? I can't read lips.
No, and I agree with that too. I'm definitely one of those fans that I want to know more of that inside angle.
I'll be a fly on the wall in all of it. Totally. I'm a nosy bitch when it comes to that.
Totally. Well, and I think just as a sports fan, the thing that like entices us the most or intrigues us the most as far as like the sports that we like watching is like the intensity of it, the build up, you know, the heart and soul of it. Mm-hmm. And when you're able to get like that inside perspective, you can see all that. that.
So I think, like, going along with that, one of what that makes me think of, I was a ball girl for NDSU, like, when I was growing up, like, as long as I could. As soon as I was old enough,
You did.
I was a ball girl.
Yeah.
Until I was too old.
Right.
Like, tried to talk my mom into lying on the form so that I could do it. It's not very easy.
Tell him I'm 13!
Anyway, yeah.
It's like the Little League World Series scandal.
But what it makes me think of is when I was a ball girl, I remember Amy Rooley was the coach for the women's NDSU basketball team from when I started going to games until, I mean, I don't remember what year she retired.
Right.
Anyway.
But for a while.
For a long time. She coached for a long time. When it would be timeout, like, I would go either, do the mop the key or whatever. I could hear what she was telling them in the huddle.
That's so
And a lot
exciting.
of times I could see, like, what she was writing on her board, like, what plays they were going to play. And, like, it just was so cool, like, idolizing some of these players. Like, Casey Morlock, she played for NDSU, I want to say it was, like, 96, 97, 98, 99. I want to say were the years that she played. But, like, she was one of my favorites. And so, like, it was just always exciting. I played myself in the intramural stuff, like, at that point. So, like, I knew what was going on. I knew what they were going to do. Like, I knew what she was going to run. Like, access. Like, that inside access. Like, I felt super cool because,
I totally
was,
agree.
Like, 10, knowing what play they were going to
Totally. I totally agree.
It's just, so.
I grinned when you said ball girl because I had some times as a ball girl too with the Blazers when my dad was an NBA referee, and definitely same thing for me. Just that inside, like, even being on the floor for their warm-ups and seeing them warm up and being right there, just, so exciting. But
or like sometimes they would deliberately like throw you the ball and you get to, you get to warm up a couple passes with them, like highlight of my fucking life.
Totally. So yes, I do. I love that the XFL has that angle towards giving viewers the inside look of like what's going on with the players in the games. I think a little bit more intense. I know there's some confusion that people have about like why coaches would drive for like just one extra point and weird things that the XFL rules, which I don't know a lot about. That's kind of part of the reason why I tweeted and was like, who here watches XFL? Because I'm actually going to talk to those people and be like, tell me about rules. Cause, like,
no, that there was a play in the NDSU in their national championship a few weeks back that it was a 4th down and they were going to kick for a field goal, but they didn't. They ran it for a touchdown.
Right, I remember that.
And
I remember we ran that back and watched it.
We ran it back and we watched it again. And then ran it back and watched it 3 more times. Because it was a beautiful slap in the face.
Yeah, it was a
beautiful slap in the face.
Great play.
Wonderful play. But, that would have been... I would have loved to have heard that being called.
That scenario, yes. I totally agree with you on that. But so I'm definitely excited to I'm one of those people that I just like learning about sports and learning more about it just because I like having shit to talk mostly. But I definitely plan on learning a little bit more about XFL. We put it, like I said, in the culture segment this week just because, again, don't know a lot about it, so I don't want to be sitting here yakking on and on about things I know nothing about. Even though a lot of you think that's what I do. Anyways,
that's what I do.
she only talks about snacks. That's it. But
when I do pipe up, it's usually I know what I'm talking about.
Wanted to kind of talk about the comparison between the two. Definitely would appreciate some viewer and listener input on those things. So if you guys are fans of XFL, definitely feel free to give us your knowledge. But just to kind of wrap up and close out episode 5, we'll do a few predictions. We've got 1 NBA, 2 NCAA women's basketball, and 2 NCAA men's basketball games that we're going to be doing predictions for in this upcoming week and weekend for episode 6.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. So the first one is Clippers versus Celtics. And this is an interesting one because they're both teams that I feel like people want to be at the top of each conference. So it's one of those ones that could potentially be a possible finals matchup.
Yeah.
Depending on how the rest of the season goes after the All-Star game. Both teams performing decently. I think their records are actually at right now. Obviously, there's going to be, I think, 1 or 2 games played for each team before they play each other. But right now, their records are 1 game off. I believe I think the Clippers are 15-7 and the Celtics are 15-6.
Okay.
Or I mean, not 15. 15 in conference play.
Okay.
So,
Celtics.
I'm glad you said that because I'm going to take the Clippers. I kind of was going to be like, okay, so who you taking? I was like prepared, but I gave you I was prepared that you're going to be like,
You saw my wheels turning.
But last week I gave you an ultimatum and was like, you have to pick one.
I know, yeah.
For the sake of picking
For the sake of picking.
So, I guess then since we made a pick, women's basketball, we have Louisville versus NC State. That's a show inside joke, so if you don't know it, you better go back to episode like 2 or 3, I think, and learn. You're gonna learn today. I got Louisville. I forget what their ranking are, but they're both they're both seeded.
They're like, yeah.
I think they're 7 and 11, maybe, if I remember correctly.
I think I'll go Louisville too, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't heard a lot about NC State this season, so that's probably the reason why I make that prediction.
Yeah.
I've heard of Louisville actually closing out a couple of really close games, so that's, for me, that's why I went with Louisville. But then also in women's basketball, we got some Pac-12 action.
Oregon and Florida, or Oregon and UCLA.
Yeah. Obviously, I have Oregon. I think UCLA is ranked like 10th right now.
Yeah. Fun fact: I had a UCLA uniform growing up. Basketball uniform. It was really cute. Really cute. I might actually still have it in my keepsake box. That'd be dope.
Cute.
I'll probably go. I think I'm gonna go Oregon too.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
Cool. I like it.
Men's basketball now.
Ooh, Florida State versus Duke. Y'all know who I pick. Go Duke.
I'm gonna go with Florida just for sake of going to Florida.
Give me more.
And the last one, Oregon and Colorado. I think.
Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon.
Yeah. They are.
They're both seeded too, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of. That's what I'm scratching my head. Is I think they're like 7 seeds away from one another.
Yeah.
So definitely a good game. Yeah. I think
It'll be good games
last time we played Colorado, I think they beat us. If I'm not mistaken.
Coming back with a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm like 99.999% positive they beat us the last time.
I'd ask Siri, but she's been a bitch lately.
Siri's always a brat to me. I don't even. Fuck it. Fuck Siri. But yeah, so I guess. Wait, what was your prediction for Oregon versus Colorado?
Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, we both got Oregon.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's that. And that's episode 5.
Sayonara, suckers.
Bye.
I shouldn't do that.